Introduction. The collective identity of Canada includes national historic sites, national parks, and national marine conservation zones. These natural and cultural treasures are a source of national pride of Canadians and an including legacy. The stories they tell about Canada from a variety of perspectives reflects the agency conversation, leadership and partnership with indigenous people. They offer Canadian and visitors from around the world unique opportunities to learn about experience and connect with our nation's culture and cultural heritage. As the guardian of these national treasures, Park Canada is aware of how crucial it is to assess the condition of heritage sites in order to support and inform decision making and guarantee their survival for both present and future generations. Culture Heritage Protection and Conservation Programs. Park Canada is in charge of 8 heritage destination programs, some of which involve preservation mechanism through federal law of policy. These programs are in addition to the destination of places, people, and events as being of natural significance. These encourage and improve the preservation of significant culture and natural heritage resources across Canada in all spheres of government. First is Heritage Lighthouses. On May 29, 2010, the Heritage Lighthouse Protection Act became law. The Act objectives include identifying federally owned historic lighthouses and preserving their historic integrity. The Act provides requirements of conservation and upkeep for federal agencies in charge of heritage lighthouses. A lighthouse's heritage character must also be safeguarded whether it is sold or transferred outside of the federal portfolio. On the recommendations of the HSMBC, the minister in charge of Parks Canada designates railway station. The step to take is designating railway stations as historic are outlined in the Heritage Railway Station Protection Act. It stipulates a precise procedure for the examination and endorsement of suggested modification or the sale of designated stations. The minister in charge of Park Canada recognizes Heritage Railroad Station on the suggestion of the Historic Sites and Monuments Board of Canada. A designated station cannot be sold or alerted without the minister's recommendation of the governor in council. The HRSPA that has classified 164 heritage railway stations since 1990. By March 31, 2021, 71 still belong to railroads subject to the federal regulation and were covered by the Act, including famous rail hubs like Union Station in Winnipeg, Gare du Palais in Quebec, and the VIA rail station in Halifax. The other properties have been sold to new owners who promise to defend their historic character. 475 investigations at more than 30 stations over the past 5 years. Parks Canada has offered program and conservation guidance to railway operators to encourage effective conservation and maintenance of these unique assets. The agency will continue to collaborate closely with owners of heritage railway station and local communities. National Program of the Gravities of Canada Prime Minister. To ensure that the graves of Prime Minister were preserved and honored Canadian heritage rivers. The National Heritage River Program for Canada is called the Canadian Heritage River System. Parks Canada in a charge of its joint federal provincial traditional initiative. The program which the agency administers in accordance with the Parks Canada Agency Act strives to identify, preserve and manage rivers that have exceptional significance in terms of their ecological, cultural and recreational aspects. The Cultural Heritage River System is the largest heritage river program in the world, and it has helped Canada become a global leader in identifying riverine cultural landscapes and recognize the cultural, natural and recreational contribution that rivers make to many communities, especially those of indigenous peoples. 39 rivers have been recognized, which means that measures have been taken to preserve the highlight their historic value. These rivers have a combined length of around 10,000 kilometers. The Ottawa River in the Ontario has been designated for 5 years. National Coast Sharing Program for Heritage Places. Parks, the National Coast Sharing Scheme for Heritage Places of Canada, is a donation program that aids in the preservation of historic sites that the Canadian government has formally acknowledged but does not manage. In addition to national historic sites, the program criteria were abrogated in 2016 to include lighthouses and railroad stations with federally designated heritage status. The program supports the agency's mission to preserve and promote outstanding examples Canada natural and cultural heritage on a national scale. Federal heritage buildings, in compliance with the Treasury Services and Procurement Canada regarding archaeological resources for projects at the National War Memorial and on Parliament Hill. World Heritage Sites. The implementation of the World Heritage Convention in Canada, both domestically and abroad. It's separated by Parks Canada. The agency offers assistance and direction of groups working on World Heritage nomination as well as manager of World Heritage Sites in Canada to educate the Canadian public and other interested parties about issues relating the global heritage. Parks Canada also engages in outreach and engagement activities. The Government of Canada updated the country tentative list for World Heritage Sites and inventory of natural and cultural heritage items having a significant likelihood of being inscribed on the World Heritage List throughout the rigorous 18-month public renewal process in 2016 and 17. The Minister in charge of Parks Canada announced the addition of 8 new sites to Canada tentative list in December 20 and 2027. The tentative list of Canadian World Heritage Sites will continue to be the source of upcoming submission. 20 World Heritage Sites were located in Canada as of March 31, 2021, including the 2 most recent additions, Writing on Stone, Alberta and Pincoin Aki in Manitoba and Ontario. Both websites highlight locations with Indigenous heritage, and the submission were created in collaboration with Indigenous partners. You received the nomination in January 2021 and was sent to the World Heritage Center. It will be taken into consideration by the World Heritage community in 2022 after a customary appraisal procedure. With a focus on supporting improved representation of Indigenous cultural heritage in the global context, Parks Canada has continued to collaborate internationally in the development of World Heritage policies for the effective execution of the World Heritage Convention. Park Canada has been preparing official state of conservation report for 2 Canadian sites, Gross Moor National Park and Wood Buffalo National Park. In response to decisions made by the World Heritage Community over the past few years, Park Canada has also been closely collaborating with partners to address the community's various requests. Following significant consultation with Indigenous park, professional, traditional governments and stakeholders, the Wood Buffalo National Park Heritage February support and awareness of heritage places. By addressing Canadians where they live and work, Park Canada increases public awareness of and connection to natural and cultural heritage locations. Parks Canada enables more Canadians to experience the outdoors and learn about their heritage by encouraging them to visit this location and by giving them the knowledge and resources necessary to enjoy them. A strategy objective for the agency is engaging Canadian youth, urban Canadians and new Canadians. Park Canada aiming to increase Canadian understanding and appreciation of their national historic location in Park Canada crucial duty to protect and preserve their places through appropriate and successful heritage place marketing and engagement efforts. Parks Canada is strengthening the bond between Canadians and their national heritage site by taking